Oh, the substance. The substance.
What's the subject about now?
The substance.
I was talking about a substance I left the other day.
And then you had to wash your sheets.
A new body horror movie
It was-
starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid.
Was that for Dennis Quaid?
Love that.
Yeah, I guess.
That man has
Rookie?
such a luscious boot.
The rookie.
Just
he
like
also
how he
played-
eats shrimp.
Gross. That was
And I think that was the point. But this is a body horror. It's a body horror movie. It is part. I akin it to like it's kind of gross, but it was a lot. I think it was fun, and I think it was an interesting take. It's one of those movies where I haven't seen where have I seen this before? It's one of the questions I always ask myself when I watch movies like this that are like like everyone is like jumping on the jock of this movie. Everyone's like, oh my god, this movie's the greatest. So when I see these movies, I always ask myself, have I seen this before? Is this something that I've seen before? Have they done stuff like this? I can't remember something like this.
well, not in a horror movie. Well, not in a horror movie that's got such big name actors.
17 again?
No, but that's
That's
not body
That's a
horror.
horror. That's a horror for me.
That's not body. That's not body horror.
Mm.
Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, they're in this movie. They're the stars of this movie. It's about an actress that I guess is now over the hill and she gets fired. Right, she's getting fired because she's older. So in order to regain her notoriety or something, she gets told to take this substance to make her more beautiful, a new perfect version of herself. And in taking this, it creates a second part of her, which is played by Margaret Qualley. And in order for them to live, one can live 7 days while the other one's asleep, and they have to keep switching back and forth. Those are the rules. They make what I liked about this movie is that they made rules.
And don't feed after midnight.
Yeah, Gremlins, right? Oh, there you go, Gremlins. A little bit of Gremlins, right? But obviously, things go awry when the new version starts getting, selfish and wants to build a bigger career for herself at the cost of Elizabeth. So you have Elizabeth Sparkle, which is played by Demi Moore, the older actress. Then you have Sue, which is played by Margaret Qualley, the younger actress. Obviously, the younger actress has a whole life career in front of her, so she wants to make the best of it. Wants to literally live it out. You can't really do that when 7 days in, and then you have to be asleep for 7 days.
Yeah,
the body has to recuperate. I thought I liked that whole premise. I like the way the movie was directed. I like the hyper. What did you call it, Ozzy? You called it you called it very like 1990s MTV music videos, like very bright colors, a lot of neon. Like,
it was very like it popped. Like the colors popped a lot, but it annoyed the shit out of me because it was just a bunch of indie bullshit that I just didn't need to see. I could have seen this movie without the random angles like this, like pull up this way.
It's supposed to be hyper, but it's supposed to be hyper stylized, right?
It's not a rap video from like the early 2000s. It ain't P Diddy, walking around.
P Diddy with baby oil, walking all over the place,
slipping all over the place.
He's gliding,
slip and slide.
Yeah.
Jamiroquai.
But I think that fed to the movie because like the scene where Dennis Quaid is eating the shrimp, like they have up close in the mouth, and then I don't know, it kind of looked very
but it was all indie,
like fish islands and stuff like that. I didn't mind it.
I mean,
I thought it worked for the movie.
Stuff she did in Revenge also.
I think but it worked in the movie. It worked for this movie. I
loved everything about the imagery, the way she set up the cameras, the color, the opening scene with the star, how it's brand new, and then all of a sudden it decays to show how she just got old. There was a lot of stuff in there that visually was it was satisfying to watch. I enjoyed every.
Damn straight it was.
And you would. Well, easy.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about
you're getting thrown out of the movie theater again.
I know.
First off,
your pants
me and Pee Wee Jr. We good.
Is that what you call it? Gross.
No, but see, I like you said, I like the way the movie started with the star, and I liked how it ended with the star.
That was all right. I did dig that a little bit. Like the age, it was the aging star that they put there. See, their
It's
aging
the full,
star.
it's the full circle, and I was caught, I was caught off guard. I was surprised that in the final act they did that whole. I mean, spoilers, the whole monster thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
What
I
is it
was
called?
surprised.
Liz Sue Monstro. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a very disgusting looking when it like either poops or coughs up a boob. I was like, oh, this is, and then
it
to have,
looked like basket case.
yeah, it did. It looked like that, and then the thing to have Demi Moore's head in the back
Yeah.
like that the whole time. Like I thought that was like, oh, I was surprised that was even gonna happen.
I don't know if you noticed that there was a lot of Shining references or a lot of Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah,
I'm
I
telling you,
noticed some of them.
indie,
I didn't
indie
notice a lot of them,
bullshit.
but
Indie bullshit. That's what it was. It was just like
I can tell you did not like. I
can
can tell you did not like this movie. Then I could tell you did not like this movie. Then Ozzy.
I was indifferent until the blob. I was like, wait a minute. So you did this whole movie about the social acceptance of ages, this whole fancy little story, and about like how society sees newer is better, blah 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 blah.
But it's true.
And then true or not, it's still, it was a fine story. I was okay with it. It wasn't like it kind of bored shit me for a little bit. Some things perked me up, but that's not different. That's neither here or there. But then they went to like a horror movie at the very end. I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, no, okay. It was like throughout there was a horror movie. But speaking of the scenes that interested you,
yeah. What's the liquids? I keep forgetting what the liquids were.
Spinal fluid. The spinal fluid was one of them.
Just straight up.
and then there was food that they don't explain.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know this. Edgar brought it up before we started recording the episode about Margaret Qualley. Who's your mom?
Andie MacDowell.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that was Andie MacDowell's kid. Andie MacDowell and Michael Keaton had a kid from Multiplicity, and
I didn't know either. My wife told me when we were watching the movie.
That's weird.
But there's
okay,
but I will say, like,
I want to tell her, hey, would you like to touch my baby?
My baby.
But I am gonna say that this movie it is for adults, has a lot of nudity, but some of the nudity was prosthetics. I could tell it was prosthetics.
I'm an expert.
First of all, don't
Connoisseur.
do that to me. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
You're ruining it. No, but yeah, I could tell. But I mean, it was a lot, but it felt like it was part of the movie. It needed to be part of the movie.
It's necessary in these things.
And I did like the makeup they did. The makeup that they did, specifically on Demi Moore, right? Specifically the makeup. That's what I think the witch from Snow White should look like. That's kind of how you have to make. That's kind of how you do the makeup.
Actually, no, wait. Now that you mentioned that would have been a good pair to do as Snow White.
Snow White, the new Snow White movie instead of.
I mean, Demi Moore can actually act. Gal Gadot cannot.
She just looks pretty.
I mean, and even then,
Demi Moore is really good in this movie.
Yeah,
I was very impressed.
And it makes sense with Demi Moore if she were the evil queen, because she's pretty, but she's aging, and she's just
No, I think she still looks beautiful. Which is weird. Which is the weird part.
What?
Which is why the messaging is pretty good, because
she's still a gorgeous woman, but yet because of her age is
and society, the pressure.
We gotta push you aside. You're and you hear that a lot. It's funny. I forgot what I was watching, some sort of documentary, something talking about movies or the entertainment business, where as soon as you turn 35, in the movies you become a mom with kids. You're no longer
a grandmother
so it's like those are the things you get.
That's what the what's it called, Jane Fonda fought for years.
Barbarella
in Vietnam.
I salute you, ma'am. No, Jane Fonda fought that.
80 for Brady.
She was basically the movie's horrible. She was that fitness model. She had a career. She's an actress, and she was always the love interest or something like that. As she got older, it changed for her, but she made it work for her. And then 80 for Brady happened.
Barbarella.
She's like, no,
but the movie does have. You could tell the message. You can tell the message in the movie. It's a well done movie, well done horror. I enjoyed the horror portion of it. I liked it a lot. It felt, you know what it kind of felt like? This could have been like one of those Tales from the Crypt movies. Or a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And
it
kind
of had that 80s, 90s horror film.
Creep
Kind
show.
of like a B.
Thing.
Yeah, like a B movie feel.
Yeah, so it just
like
felt
a B movie, but with higher caliber actors.
Which
Just like
I love B
with
movies,
Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that. That's what I kind of felt like. This could have been like you could have had. You could have had the Crypt Keeper in the front, right? You could have the Crypt Keeper up front. You could have marketed this like a brand new
little intro.
Yeah, you could have had stuff like that. I enjoyed this movie.
Beauty.
I enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie was well done, and it was a lot of fun. And it was gross. It was one of those movies that I almost puked.
Yeah. No. Well, what's
no,
Evil Dead. I mean,
Dead Alive. It's not
Alive.
that level, but it was getting there.
It was really graphic. Yeah, I loved it. But I think it ran too long. I think there's a moment in the movie where I was like, oh, it should have just ended here, and it would have been a good movie. I understand why the end with the monster, because it has to lead to the end of the movie where she's looking up from the stars.
Yeah,
at the stars. I get it, but I think it went too long.
It could have. I think it could have been trimmed. Could have been cut a little bit, but I overall I still had a good time.
Like 15 minutes. Like the end 15 minutes could have been gone, and it still would have been a great movie.
But I enjoyed it. It could have been one of those movies where it could have ended where, she's just gonna be held in a room forever, and like it could have ended like on a dark note, not with like the whole monster thing, but it could have ended really well.
It did. It was a fine. It's actually a pretty decent sci-fi movie until it got monstery. But that's when I was like, that's when it lost me completely. I was like, no, I'm good.
Well, yeah, that's when we, my wife and I, just turned at each other and just looked at each other like, what the heck is going on now?
We're getting old.
This movie, you either love it or you hate it, and there is no in between. There's no like, because I liked it a lot.
I enjoyed it.
My wife hated it.
Yeah,
she thought it was a stupid movie.
And I enjoyed it. I laughed at parts. I was like, it's so comic booky, so so big, so loud, and but I enjoyed it. I watched the whole movie, and I had a good time with it. And
I love the message at the end when she, she's all grotesque and she's even like combing her little strand of hair and putting makeup on that ugly face, and she finally accepts who she is, and she's like, I'm beautiful. And because even when she walks into the room and she's imagining everybody like, oh, you're here, you're so beautiful, whatever, she, in her mind, she finally accepts that she is beautiful and stands in front of everybody. So it's like the message is good. Just accept who you are. If you're ugly,
that's it. That's all the movie is about.
If you're ugly, you pretty too.
Yeah,
you're ugly. I mean, I can finally accept myself when I look in the mirror.
There you go.
Boom.
You look like the grotesque monster.
I mean, I just stand in front of the mirror, and tell myself I'm a superstar.
I'm a superstar.
But if you've seen the Substance,
Molly Shannon.
Superstar.
But if you've seen
more Dirk Diggler, bro. Okay, thank you.
But if you've seen The Substance, let us know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And on that note, this has been Vinny.
The Substance is sticky.
We'll see you guys next week.